We'll do it live.
It's all happening.
What's the matter?
Think you can handle that?
Terrence from blackbeatbeat.com.
Do it now. The Rippin' and the Terran.
Oh, yeah.
Coming to you live from Arcane Sublevel 7, It's Talk is Cheap. Now here's your host, Dan Hohlfeld.
That's tomorrow. And that is it for us today. We'll do it live. All right, go.
Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. I'm your host, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Hohlfeld. Thank you so much for joining me on this April 2nd, 2019 Tuesday edition. We're live every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Of course, you can always catch the broadcast at a later date on our YouTube channel, or you can catch it on your favorite podcasting platform. Now, it goes without saying, yesterday was April Fools, April 1st, ladies and gentlemen. You know, those news cycles, they just get ridiculous. I try not to cover fake news. I know it happens from time to time. You try to trust these sources. They put out some wacky stuff. Yesterday was a good example. What I always do on April 1st is I don't look at the news cycle because you can't trust anything that day. Because some of it does look legit, but it's like, well, you know, you could dig and dig and dig, but it gets to be pretty overwhelming at times, and that will drive you nuts. So just a quick note, this Thursday I will be on Alice Eats the Apple with Carrie Walker. She was on this program a couple weeks ago now. We're going to be discussing the disclosure initiative. It won't be live, I believe. She was just going to have a roundtable with her, me, and Mitch Owens discussing the disclosure initiative. This is the most important thing. You know, I covered Louis Elizondo a lot, To the Stars Academy. This is the disclosure operation for the government, so I want to make sure we hammer this out. This is what this is all about. We're just going to call it like we see it. Some people don't like it. Some people do. Haters are coming out of the closet. What are you going to do? I don't even care anymore because people are going back at my old YouTube channels and going, look at this guy. He was doing some jackass videos. So what? I was younger. Without that experience doing those videos, this is what got me into the editing. This is what made me create this show. It was all a stepping stone to get me to where I am now. And different time, younger time, different person. People don't understand that, but oh well. So big show today. The big thing I want to break down after the break is that Louis Elizondo did a conference at the Scientific Conference on Anomalous Aerospace Phenomena. And this was filmed on March 15th, 2019. Basically, he's pushing the threat initiative, why they're doing the threat initiative, back engineering, how they want to basically say, if we can figure out what it is, we can back engineer these craft. Well, there you go. And then basically they've been studying these since 1947, and the program is still going on, believe it or not. Yes. And then we'll get into some QAnon conspiracy ramp up, the U.S. Space Command. I never heard of that before, but that was a real thing now. Yeah.
What's the matter?
And then we're going to look at some ECETI Ranch video footage. This was done by Rob Freeman. He did such an excellent job on this. He has a couple iPhone rigs up with some thermal and night vision. It just looks amazing for his cell phone footage. Let's just say that. So without further ado, I want to play a message. This is from Shane. He's watching live right now from Dubai, I believe. He's an Australian. Let's listen to what he's got to say.
Hi guys, it's Shane from Australia, living in Dubai. Just wanted to let you know that I've been watching the show and I think it's fantastic. I wouldn't change a thing. It's fantastic what you guys are doing. Look, I was just curious as to whether you'd ever covered, the human body firmware. I like to call it version 1.0. Happy to discuss it one day with you if ever you wish, but I find it very interesting that we're still the same firmware that operates the body and that we're stuck that way. But anyway, keep up the good work, guys, and thank you so much for operating the show. It's absolutely fantastic. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane, for that call. He did make a YouTube video unlisted and kind of gave me his thoughts that way, which is really nice because when you try to explain stuff in email, it gets really complicated. But he was nice enough to put a video up. I got to watch it. He explained it pretty well. So basically, he's talking about the body firmware, like he broke down, like you get 2 sets of teeth, we do, but sharks get infinite. Why haven't we, like, why hasn't our firmware been upgraded so we can keep getting teeth? And it's a good point, because, you know, you could say well, there's a little bit of evolution here and there, but where's the quantum leap that you think we should have actually had by now? And then what I was thinking when he brought that up was the whole CRISPR program, because you can just edit your genes and stuff and make change your hair color, all that stuff you can do with the CRISPR. So that's very interesting there. But yeah, he also said change the code so eating sugary donuts, whatever, can build muscle. That's when you start thinking about the possibilities. It's like, yeah, why couldn't you just change the code on that? So basically, the firmware is running the body, and then the consciousness is driving that body. So it's basically, you know, like with cars, upgrade the cars, and then we're just the drivers. So they don't really know how it operates. They're just driving it. But if you want to call in, Shane, by all means, if you're watching, I saw you in the chat earlier. Call in and we can talk about it. Looks like we actually have a caller now. I want to bring him on, see what he's got to say. This is area code 951. You're on the air.
Hi, Dan. This is Fred Grace from Southern California.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, my buddy Dan. I really appreciate your network as well. The guy from Australia, he did really. You're kicking butt. I love how you do the crypto as well. That's awesome. But I got this distressing news out here in California. It seemed like, you know, this Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
U.S. Attorney
You were
General
talking about that in the chat earlier.
Yeah, and then she's going to hire this crisis actor, Jeremy Smollett, right? And then he's going to go make false police reports, and then nobody gets in trouble. All charges dropped. What the, like, you know, this is like, if I did something like that, like the FBI would arrest me, they would indict me. But because she's a former attorney general, oh, she's like, you can't touch her. You see what I'm saying? Trump did this same shit back in the days when he hired that guy to do in his U.S. pageant, and he came out and said the wrong name. He said the wrong name, had to go back out there and clear it up. And then his talk show is the biggest, baddest show on the planet. You know what I mean? All day long. So these guys are going to get famous off this shit, and nobody gets charged. And I'm like, why? How can you incite racial violence, you know?
Right. I think there's a bigger thing to this, because if you follow up on the Q stuff, I think they're going to use it to bring down a whole load of dominoes at once, where it would just be one.
Yeah, it goes to New Jersey, that other U.S. Senator. Cole.
Yeah, so they can get a whole shebang off of this now.
Yeah. Hey, can I tell you that ECETI, something like that? You said there's a test or something? But
yeah, I was going to bring that on the show.
That's the primer code, right? Where everything's put together. That's what I'm telling you. Is I've built a free energy device. It's called the plasma generator. It's Paul Pantone's generator. All you know how you put it forms a magnet, man. It forms like the same type of magnet that the Earth creates. So it forms gravity. Anyway, it transmutates the elements. This thing goes way deep, real quick. Goes black, deep black. But it has a new radiation. That new radiation is like the fountain of youth. You think you found the fountain of youth. You're going to drink water, but it's drinking the electromagnetic field. You have to be in this negative environment. The plasma generator creates like a 360-degree bubble, like a sphere. And when you're inside there, time can change. So anyway, that all goes to that movie Contact, the primer code. But now on my plasma generator, I use magnets. Okay, and no, I told you I create a magnet. I use copper, I use aluminum, and then I use mercury for fuel. So that's the real plasma generator, and that's the real time travel device. It's out there. It's out there, bro. The looking glass. This all connects.
Did you put a video up on this?
I got several videos on the Looking Glass because that whole thing just freaked me out. And then there's a movie called Rewind on the Sci-Fi Network, but it's on YouTube and it's free. And so you just type Rewind and they try to make it confusing and get you thinking it's CERN with this particle accelerator, but their particle accelerator has no spin. When we're spinning, we're rubbing like forces together. And when you put all the forces together, you get an unlimited amount of electricity. And then if it's in a copper tube, because all this happens in a tube, it's tubular, bro. It's tubular.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Think you can handle that?
But I was gonna say, you don't have any videos of your plasma generator line.
I do. I had, man, Dan, I'm gonna tell you, bro. The way these guys are working right now, like, if you have I disassembled it. I don't even play with it anymore. But this is the deal. I'm always looking for funding because at the first levels, we're levitating. At first, you're transmutating elements. You're creating a new. Hey, that Alex Elizondo, he has a great video. And he says, these metamaterials. So that's what this stuff, they're 10 times harder than diamonds, the hardest known subject. So we're getting harder stuff. Anyway, I could create all that stuff using the plasma generator. This gets weird because I've really tapped into the plasma generator and like hacking the universe when you use all the elements and this stuff. So I create a new element I like to call it pandetium. It implodes. It's a gas. And it implodes. So when you use it in an engine, you're going to get higher RPMs, and the exhaust comes out transmutated. It's like 21% oxygen. There is no carbon emission. You see, all this stuff, they're forcing carbon credits or whatever.
Yeah.
The UN, we got to watch it. The UN is not our friend, dude. The UN,
Definitely.
they take it to the underground. They're taking it to the underground, bro. You're in a blackout prison, and nobody knows. Dude, you don't want to. That's why I got to tread lightly over here. You know what I'm saying? But I do have a lot of videos out on YouTube. I'm a station called Fred Grace, but they demonetized me, so I'm not motivated to keep making more.
What was the reason for the demonetization?
Like, they attacked me. The event, the August 6, 2018. There's this video from the time travel program where it is from SETI and the Looking Glass, and it got out on the internet like 9 years ago, and then the event, it actually happened in 2018, like August 6, 2018, and I had all these clips and I put it together, and they just ad revenue just kept hitting me for copyright strikes. This guy named Ad Revenue.
You make a good point because remember that pyramid video you called in about a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
Now there's this company called Viral Hog. He must have sold that video to them, and now they flagged my video. So now they're they're getting all the monetization from my videos for that now.
Exactly. It sucks, bro. That's what they did. I got a list of copyright strikes. They just said, never mind, let it go. And then they just start playing ads and let my stuff go. But they take all the money. But so I'm not really worried about the money. Look, people like me and you, if anybody wanted to build a spaceship for reals, I can tell you more. See, this leads to Alex Elizondo. He had a great interview where he explained that the time is different in the satellites. So a satellite is about 60, let's say 100 to 120,000 feet or yards above, meters or whatever above. So it's away from the center of our Earth. The Earth is where the center is where your gravity is coming from, and it layers out. There may be a hollow world or a hollow Earth, but anyway, just go with me on this. You got the different layers of atmosphere, and the higher and the farther you get away from Earth, the less gravity. Comprende?
Exactly.
Okay, so check this out. The farther you go away, the less gravity you have, the less time the less time goes by. So time
That's
goes
right.
by a little bit slower, right? So there's an algorithm that the satellites keep using so that they could keep atomic time where we're at here on Earth. You see what I'm saying? Because
Exactly.
they keep going. Yes, it adjusts. So he's very smart, but he don't. You know, this is the thing. Everybody's being played. Nobody knows about the sky dreadnoughts, and that's another thing that they're getting me. These cigar-shaped UFOs have black ops, U.S. black ops, deep black written all over them. They levitate. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Don't be fooled. Pyramid UFO right over the Pentagon. Come on. They got 7D holographic imaging, light bending. They could shoot an image. They could make it look like a pyramid. They could make it look like a dragon. They could.
So you think that was blue book stuff above the Pentagon?
A plane. Oh, that's total. That was all black.
Blue beam,
deep
excuse
black
me.
right there. Those are the teeth. Okay, yeah, like say they beamed somebody up. Yeah, they could have. They could have said, hey, man, they will zap you. It's true. You go right through, like, your window, your roof, whatever, dude. They'll just pull you and you're gone, bro. I felt it one day, man. I think they got me again. Again and again, bro. These guys, so anyway, it gets really strange, Dan, but the truth is out there, man. And that's all my station's about. So I have to limit all the videos.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling in, Fred.
Yeah.
It's great
I
to
love
hear
you,
all
Dan,
that.
man. Keep the great work up, and love your show.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Catch you later, man.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time.
All right. Awesome. Phone call right off the bat. I love that. We get some more interaction on the show because I think people can get sick of hearing me talk the whole program like that. But we do have a lot to break down. Like I said, feel free to call in anybody if you want. It's awesome to keep this going. And I want this to be more of like a talk show, like coast to coast style, like call in with your thoughts, whatever. Okay, so yeah, played the voicemail. Let's go into the first breaking news story. Okay, big news here. The Alex Deposition video came out. Alex Jones, right? I should have had these drops ready.
We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen.
So what this is now, you got the parents. There's actually a few parents from Sandy Hook. Oh, I shouldn't even say that name on here. SH that are going to, otherwise this will get flagged, sue him. Now this is a deposition. They were talking to the lawyers. Of course, for his statements on SH. And I watched most of this. There was probably 3:15 or 3.5 hour ish. I watched most of it. I didn't get the last part of it. I was watching it last night. But there's a lot of things where they're coming out basically saying, did you say that? You know, and you can see it. This is the most docile I've ever seen Alex Jones. If you wanted to see him quiet, lay down, this is the place to see it.
He's a man.
But it's not so much about that. What really gets me about this is a complete attack on free speech, because they're saying you can't make that accusation. Why can't you? Everybody's got a right to their own opinion. So now they want to say that he doesn't have a right to question any of this stuff. And this only blew up because of the Megyn Kelly interview and, of course, Hillary Clinton actually getting it started. So it all got everything ramped up. I mean, he talked about this and kind of let it go for the most part. There's a lot of questions around this stuff. I have a lot of questions. I was talking to a woman that lives there. She said it did happen. I'm saying I'm not beyond it happening, but there's a lot of questions. We know the government can stage a lot of stuff. You got Northwoods documents, all that stuff where it's declassified that they want to stage attacks like this. They're sick, okay? And if they do it in the name of children, there's a tech show I watch. I'm not going to name what it was. I don't even watch it anymore, but because there really isn't, not because of that, because there's not much content for the technology stuff anymore on it. That they were saying, well, because kids died, you have to believe the official story. It's like, whoa, do we actually live in a place where just because that is initiative, you got to shut up and go with what they say? And then they brought up in this interview also that Alex Jones, oh, we got police reports here that said this happens. Well, police reports can be faked. This stuff can be whitewashed. It can be scrubbed. And just to say, okay, we'll just listen to them, let it go. That's an attack on free speech. And then he brought up the CNN thing, you know, when Anderson Cooper turns and the nose glitches out. Megyn Kelly says it was because it was live, it was a glitch. There's a difference between a glitch and like a key out like that. But they don't want to question CNN with Anderson Cooper being there and all the lies that they spew. That's okay. That's okay. Let's attack this guy because he's actually letting some truth out. You know, Alex Jones, love him or hate him, he woke me up about 9/11. I did more research. Loose Change was a big awakening in that for me. But he was definitely a sign to get me going in that direction and wake up to some of this stuff. And then I was watching before this show a video from We Are Change. Luke Rudowski and Jason Burmis is on there now. Basically saying Alex Jones is screwed on this. Jason Burmis worked for Alex Jones for the longest time. And then he's basically like throwing him under the bus. You know, there's probably a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes that I didn't see about that. But Jason Burmis says on that video, well, you should do more research. How about the video you put out, what, 2 months ago maybe? Where Jason Burmis was interviewing DeFango saying that he was the one doing the QAnon stuff. He didn't do his research on that one. DeFango was trolling Jason on that, and he didn't even blink an eye at it. It was all fake. Look it up. Whatever. It's just this infighting I don't like, because I remember Luke Rudowski, Jason Burmis, they got their platform from Alex Jones, and then everybody wants to throw him under the bus. But, you know, like him or hate him,
good luck.
It is what it is. And this is more importantly not so much Alex Jones or whoever, it's attack on free speech. If he can get in trouble for that, well, we got to watch what we say. Even me now on the show, I don't even want to say the words. I say SH because that's a trigger word for the robots that are going to flag this video. If I haven't gotten flagged already. So we'll see how that goes when this turns out. But big thing there. We'll see how that goes. It's not good for free speech. That's all I want to say. So this leads into the QAnon. What do we got in the chat? Oh, Johnny Ace says, any new information regarding the event? The event, last I knew, when I had M and Miss M on, we were going to talk about they said around, when she was talking to the Galactics, we're looking at between now and May. So that's a short time. Do I think something's going to happen? I don't know. I don't even hold my breath anymore on that. I did have a very visual dream. It wasn't so much about an event, but I got a date. I don't even know if it was for that, but it was really weird. I had a visualization date, but it was the end. It was basically November. I don't even know what it was for. I never get dates in a dream. It was kind of like a vision dream. It's really weird. And then I got 2 separate dates. What is that? I don't know. There was like a 3-month buffer, I believe. Yeah, because one was the end of November, and then the other date was February 22nd. I don't know what that all means. I never get dates like vividly like that in a dream, if you will. It's always more rough or blasé, whatever you want to call it. Where can we find the video with Alex Jones that you showed? This article was on Huffington Post, but just type in Alex Jones Deposition, and you can see there was 2 parts that company released. The lawyers, and they're basically trying to show that he's this bad guy. You go to they go to their website, they show the Megyn Kelly doing the interview with the father of one of the kids that got killed, and what she does is put you into that, and a lot of TV shows do this. They'll show you, put you in that emotional state. Oh, this happened, and then how can he question that? It's textbook propaganda at its best. But yeah, if you're interested in watching it, 3 hours, have at her. I'm probably gonna finish up the rest of it today. So let's move on to the QAnon thing real quick. Let's get some music to get started, right?
The ripping and the tearing.
Oh yes, gotta love that ripping and the tearing. QAnon conspiracy theorists turned out in force at Trump's Michigan rally as he hailed victory over deep state. Again, this is in Business Insider. They're making a big deal out of this because why? Because QAnon's probably real, folks, and they want to shut it down. Supporters of the bizarre QAnon conspiracy theory were among the thousands of people who turned out to see President Donald Trump in Grand Rapids, Michigan on Thursday. QAnon adherents believe that Trump is out to take down an elite deep state child abuse ring. We see that all the time.
Slowly but surely, it's all happening.
Trump on Thursday hailed victory over the deep state in his first rally since Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report was submitted. There's another thing. You want to talk about the Alex Jones stuff and spreading lies. What about CNN spreading lies about Trump with his whole Mueller report? He's going down, he's going on. They set that up. They were ready to find some little crumb and bring everything down. Didn't happen. Now they got to walk back and say, oh, that was still honest journalist reporting. It's called, and I'm fine letting them have their free speech because let people make up their mind. There's a lot of brainwashed people, but let them make up their mind. Let people listen to what they want to listen to. You know, I guess there probably should be a little more accountability for, you know, if you're on TV, because for some reason that's like a standard, like that's the Bible, that's the word, whatever. So, NBC News reporter Ben Collins, who posted the video, tweeted, "I've been covering QAnon for a year, and the amount of pro-Q people in this video from yesterday's Trump rally line in Grand Rapids is absolutely shocking." I'm going to play this video real quick. Just crowded with people.
Yes. Where we go, where we go off.
Oh, yeah.
QAnon, baby!
And it goes all around the whole blocks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, yeah, if in any other like conspiracy theory, if you will, would it have caught this much? They're just trying to shut these people up, and at the movement's growing more and more. It's unbelievable. So yeah, that's just another shutdown there. They also claim that Trump and Mueller are actually working together to break up the elite child abuse ring, and that Mueller's probe into the Trump campaign ties to Russia is just cover. You're playing 4D chess. He's doing an excellent job at it. You know, there was a lot of things that we questioned. I questioned the Syria attack. Neil Revolt, who breaks down a lot of the conspiracy or the QAnon stuff, did an awesome job breaking that down, made me understand it. And you can see that we're not really in a full-fledged war. Things have really calmed down. And even a lot of the generals got mad because that's what they do. They like to go to war, and that's all they know how to do, really.
Definitely.
So speaking, let's go on to our Space Command.
Do it now.
So this is a United States Space Commander nominated. This is actually a legit site. This is off the Air Force website. It's af.mil. You can look it up. You can come down here. If confirmed, Raymond will lead the soon-to-be established U.S. Space Comm, which will focus on conducting all joint space warfighting operations and ensuring the combat readiness of global forces. Establishing U.S. Space Comm is a critical step that underscores the importance of the space domain and its strategic contributions to U.S. national security. There's the threat thing again.
Exactly.
The U.S. Spacecom establishment will accelerate our space capacities, our capabilities to address the rapidly evolving threat, there it is, to U.S. space systems, and the importance of deterring potential adversaries from putting critical U.S. space systems at risk. So a push again. It sucks to see it go this way, but I guess, because this could get nasty real quick. You know, this is why the other aliens that are visiting the planet don't want us to be war fighting like this, because it starts to, when it comes down to it, when you start getting technology, and I'm going to break this down in Lewis's video, which we should probably start getting to here pretty soon, that you get so technologically advanced, like what does it matter anymore? Because Lewis talks about having, you know, if you talk about back engineering some of this stuff, he says, well, you develop something that you can have all this armor on, but why have all the armor when you can make bullets obsolete? It's like, boom, right there. Bullets obsolete. So now we're just going to, like, you know, what does it come down to? That we got to be the good guys and try to play peace workers here because we can go in and your bullets ain't going to do anything and you have to do what we say? That's tough. And that's when it comes down to it. You get so advanced, it's like it doesn't matter anymore because anybody can do anything, and you kind of really do got to be spiritually evolved. So back to the United States Space Command. This was actually created in 1985 to coordinate the use of outer space by the United States Armed Forces, and then it disbanded in 2002. And then reestablishment, the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, which was signed into law in 2018, directed the establishment of U.S. Space Command as a sub-unified combatant command under U.S. Strategic Command. However, in December, it was directed that the U.S. Space Command will instead I can't talk today, folks.
Well, we'll see.
I apologize for those listening on the podcast. Instead, the U.S. Space Command will be reestablished as a full unified combatant command with full responsibilities of space warfighting held under the U.S. Strategic Command. So this is all gearing up for this false flag alien invasion that we always heard about. They're going to make it real. I was listening to an interview from Jason Rice, the new whistleblower for the 20 and back. Some people say that he's whatever, not legit. I don't know fully. I can't make up my mind on him, but you know, who's to say he's not? But he was talking about them on another planet starting like these false flag things to get a one world government, and now you can kind of see that that's what they're going to do here. So if they tested this on other civilizations, other planets, now they want to do it here. Again, it's like, holy cow, how far down the rabbit hole are we going to go? Because it never stops when it comes to it. So I'm going to take a break so we can get into the Luis Elizondo stuff. That's like a 15-minute video, got to cut down to, but I really want to break it down. It's important. We're going to come back with the UFO intro on this one. This one's going to be good. Stick with us, folks. Talk is cheap.
Have your voice heard today. Call into the show at 1-605-562-0444. Show ID 146509.
Please hang up and try again.
Have a comment, question, or topic suggestion? Call our voicemail at 1-256-510-5234. That's 1-256-510-K2D4.
Right now at the K2D4 Network store, we have exciting new products available. First, get your morning started right with the new coffee mugs and signature stickers. Check out the amazing new beach towel. Show your support for the broadcast, even while you're at the beach. The signature Talk is Cheap pillow, available in 3 colors: white, black, and the signature orange. Keep it simple with the Talk is Cheap poster, the same background that is used in the show. We also have the new Be the Change tee. Give people the reminder that change begins within. all available right now at the K2D4 Network store. Go to K2D4Network.com for more.
Big tech giants are censoring people's voices. Subscribe to our backup channels on BitChute and DTube. Go to K2D4Network.com for all the links.
This is Shane Robinson with Unbiased and On the Fence, and you're listening to Talk is Cheap with Dan Hohlfeld.
This message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere. It is speculated that these objects are of extraterrestrial origin. The broadcast will quiet at this time for your safety.
Broadcasting into the far reaches of the Pleiades, it's Talk is Cheap.
Welcome back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. April 2nd, 2019. Things are ramping up. We saw a lot of disclosures happen. Well, you could call them disclosures, I guess, whatever. In March here with the QAnon stuff. Crazy, crazy times we live in. But I want to get into... We're going to show this ECETI clip real quick, and then we'll get into the Luis Elizondo stuff, because there's a lot of stuff here to cover. Now, this is Rob Freeman. He's got a YouTube channel here, analyzing the ECETI Ranch lights footage with Peter Maxwell Slattery. He's got night vision and thermal. Let's play a clip here. This is his rig. So you can see we got like 3 cameras, maybe 4. This must be a spare lens because I know he only had 3 viewers here. And these are all hooked up to a cell phone, so that's really interesting. So that's his rig, and then we got the actual showing the footage here. Let me bring it up. 44 seconds. All right.
You know, at 3 in the morning on a moonless night, who would be crazy enough to go up to the top of that mountain? I don't even know if it's legal.
So we're here at Mount Adams at James Gilliland ECETI Ranch. I've got night vision on the right there. See the flash going on right now?
That's awesome.
Okay. I've got night vision. I've got thermal in the middle, black and white, and where black is hot. And I've got thermal here showing the color thermography. And
for those listening on the podcast, the night vision infrared spectrum there's like glowing light orbs, dots, whatever you want to call them, on Mount Adams here. This is James Gilliland's ranch, of course. I'm going to go out there this year. It's going to be awesome. And then when you look at the thermal, there's nothing there. And these are flashing.
See the lights flashing there? Up at the top, yeah. You see, and
one's down below.
Nothing happening at all in this black and white thermal. There's nobody
so there's
walking
no heat
around.
signature.
There's no tents. There's nothing. And when you look at the color of this same sort of pushed over square, it's flattened down a bit. There's no temperature change when you see the flashes. And there's the flashes going right now.
So Casper in the chat is asking where is this ranch? This is in Washington by a trout lake. But this is like, wow, just to see this. Dots, orbs, there's one out there you could probably walk to. It's like, what is that? You could, a lot of night vision stuff they use for the ghost hunting, and you catch stuff on that, but you can't catch it in the other spectrums. Nothing showing up on thermal. That's very interesting. I thought it would be awesome to show that, since I will be getting there this year. We're looking at, again, we don't have a date set. Now, I will be advertising a lot once we get a date figured out, that we'll go down there, and Shane's gonna go the whole shebang. You guys want to chill with us, probably do 2 or 3 days there and see what can happen. I'm looking forward to that. Pete's gonna come with. That's why I wanted to find out, so Pete could get his vacation in and get all set up to go. All right, let's move on to today's top story. All right, this is the Luis Elizondo Space Conference, Scientific Conference on Anomalous Aerospace Phenomena Conference. This is on March 15th, 2019. So we're going to break this down. There's a lot here. Like I said, it's 15 minutes. I want to try to get through all of it. It's not the best practice to sit here and put that much video together for you folks. But I think it's important. This is what this show here is about. I like to talk about the disclosure. This is the official disclosure narrative. Luis Elizondo's the point man. He's a likable guy. I'm going to give him that. That's why they're using him for the mouthpiece. So let's just break this down and go through it. And he says a lot here, so let's just bring it on.
I would like to share with you some personal insight. I received a call from a very dear colleague of mine who's still at the Pentagon, who works this effort very, very closely. And so, yes, read between the lines. When I say is working this, I don't mean in the past. Actively working this. So that means
still going on.
This effort continues. So congratulations. It's still going. And that too will come out, hopefully in a very official way sometime soon. But
I remember when they first...
We have established the fact that they're real. And we have also established the fact...
We're getting through a lot here. Remember, I'm going to back that up again. When Luis Elizondo came out, he says, I don't know if they're still doing it. I left. The program could still be going on. All right, the program's still going on. He just said that right there. Next, we have established the fact that they are real. Remember he says, we don't know what they are. We don't know what it is. Now he says they're real.
We have established the fact that they're real. And we have also established the fact that from a national security perspective, and we'll talk about this, I know some people are a little bit leery of the fact that I've always historically tied this to a national security threat, and we'll get to that. But you now have people at the highest levels of the United States government and international communities of their governments finally taking this serious, applying real resources, real talent, real expertise to look at this and finally figure out what this means. We couldn't even have a conversation about it because of social stigma, and that is wrong. So that is why I chose to leave. And of course, a lot of speculation came out as a result of that. Am I a spy for the CIA trying to fool people and do soft disclosure? As I've said before, look, at the end of the day, I'll tell you no, but it doesn't really matter because people are going to believe what they believe. At the end of the day, who cares? Because we're getting what we wanted. You're getting the information that was so squirreled away in these little secret hidden compartments, it's now coming to light. You're now realizing we were looking at aircraft 40 years in the future. Because if you look at 40 years ago in the past, what did we have? We had F-16s, we had F-14 Tomcats, we had F-4s. What do we have today? We have F-18s, we have F-16s, we have F-22s, we have F-117s, but they're still jets. When you look at the DIA studies, I think it's very evident what we were looking at. We weren't looking at aircraft 40 years in the future. We're going to get into a little of that right now.
So, yeah, folks. Now they basically have to say the social stigma thing. Who created the social stigma? That was the government to shut this thing down. The only reason they have to come out with it is because whistleblowers are coming out. They can't stop it, and they got to get ahead of this thing while they can. So that's all this is the slow. He says slow disclosure. It is slow, and he tells why they're doing it slow later on. There's just so much in here. Officially, okay, now he talks about the officially clocked speed of these things, and he says, I got to be careful on this one.
Definitely.
Yet these things are performing hypersonic velocity in some cases. I have to be careful what I say. What I will tell you is that they have been officially clocked at over 13,000 miles an hour.
13,000.
Unofficially, much, much faster.
So he's got to let it out here. They actually were looking at these things for quite some time, even though it was like, we don't know what these are. We don't know what they are. We never seen this stuff before. And you can see they got to start backtracking here a little bit to try to bring this acclamation up, because it's been a couple years now since this has happened.
By the way, these are through military capabilities, okay? Not grandma saw some lights in the backyard.
threat push.
So you
Here we
can
go.
see from a national security perspective, there are national security implications to this. Now, if you ask me as a human being, is it a national security threat? I think my answer to you would be, could be if it wanted to be. It has the potential to be. I'm not saying they're a threat. What I'm saying is that they could be if they wanted to be. Or it could be if it wanted to be.
Since 1947.
So as a result, you pay your Department of Defense to protect this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's what it says. So you want a Department of Defense to consider this a potential national security threat until it can prove it's not. So that's why in my job, look, if this was a humanitarian thing and everybody was here for peace and sing kumbaya, give it to the State Department, give it to an NGO, give it to USAID. That's not DOD's job. DOD's job is to go fight and win wars quickly. That is what you pay us to do.
That's scary.
And so that is why there was a national security nexus. Because if it was anything other than national security, the DOD would not be involved. The Air Force wouldn't be involved, Navy wouldn't be involved, most likely CIA wouldn't be involved, DIA and everybody else. It is a national security issue. Is it a threat? I don't know. But it is an issue, in my opinion.
They're definitely, they want that threat initiative. And then we're getting into, now this is the word we've been observing this since 1947. This is huge because they always say they had 60.
And these observables go all the way back to 1947. And they're written in some cases by 4-star officers. They're written to and from J. Edgar Hoover.
Mind blown.
As high as it gets.
I've been saying this forever.
So don't look at ATIP and say, well, ATIP brought all this out. Actually, we didn't. We just continued the legacy of a lot of hard work. It goes well before that. We have known about these things for a long time. The only thing ATIP did with the help of folks like Hal was be able to understand that these things fell into a category of observables that then allowed us to try to figure out the physics. That is an accomplishment of ATIP. Because once you understand the physics,
here we go.
You understand how it works. And if you understand how it works, then maybe you can replicate it.
Bingo! Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ooh. Oh yes.
You think they want to back engineer these things? Now this is what this is gonna do. He's laying the groundwork here, folks, so they can say, maybe you can back engineer it. Well, now they're gonna probably start bringing out the TR-3B thing, or some version of it. Oh, we back engineered this stuff from looking at it. We had these samples, whatever. But this is the exact thing, because I always said, how do you go from we don't know what it is to we know what it is to by the way, he hasn't even said aliens yet. That hasn't even entered the conversation yet on these videos. Somebody's piloting these things, and that's the elephant in the room. But they're going to get into the technology thing and try to get the public acclimated up real quick. All right, next.
It's not only the U.S., folks. It's foreign governments. They've got an interest too. The French. And some of these countries have actually admitted it. For some reason, they're a little more forthcoming than we are. I don't know why. I can only imagine why. But these are some of the organizations that are actually within their governments that are actually chartered specifically to look at UAPs from a scientific perspective, mind you. So you're.
By the way, those listening on the audio podcast, we have foreign governments that have the interest. He's got a slide up here. We got Brazil, Canada, French, Soviet Union, UK, and he's got another slide that'll come up here in a second.
Talking about money, resources, and budgets and personnel that could be diverted to things like war on terrorism, but they're not. They're diverted to the UAP phenomenon because they think it's important enough that they understand what they're dealing with. And frankly, I don't blame them. But guess what? It's not just them.
Here we go.
There's some more countries.
More countries are Australia, Chile, New Zealand, Spain, Sweden, Uruguay, Denmark, and behind him is the Vatican.
I think when we have this conversation, we're beginning to realize that this is not a U.S. phenomenon. This is not even a phenomenon for this hemisphere. It is truly a global phenomenon.
National security threat. Now he's going to pitch the national security threat again.
National security threat. I heard someone else say this far more eloquently, but let me see if I can recapture it very quickly. Hypothetically, sir, Senator so-and-so.
He's a good salesman, by the way. Listen.
Lou, do you think this is really, I mean, really, at the end of the day, is this really a threat? Well, sir, Mr. Senator, we have two options. A, we have something coming into our airspace that we have no idea what it is, how it works, and there's not a damn thing we can do about it. And oh, by the way, there's a capability to bring potentially nuclear capabilities over the White House in 2 minutes. Or it's a mass delusion. Everybody is absolutely crazy. Thousands of DoD people who have top secret clearances, trained observers who you trust to go fight and win wars with live munitions over U.S. cities. They're crazy. And by the way, some of these people have their finger on the nuclear button. Is that not also an issue?
Wow, he's a good.
So either way, it's a national security issue. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. It is a national security issue. Those are the only two options. It's real or it's not. Neither one is a national security issue. So I think it's important we look at it that way. And so then the next option is, well, Lou, you know, it's I won't say who, the DoD scratches their head and says, well, you know, actually, we think it's Russian. Well, okay, fine. You know what? Great. So how long have you known DoD that this was a Russian capability and you failed to inform Congress, which, by the way, is law? What's your answer now?
He's
because,
good.
okay, great, it's Russian.
He's real good.
Why haven't you told me? It's been how many years? And they've had this capability the entire time?
He's, people, the breakdown of that is unbelievable. He's a good salesman. I believe Shane Goodwin said that in the chat. Actually, to be honest, he even looks like a salesman. But yeah, like, I'm critical of this whole To the Stars Academy thing. I mean, we all are. We're awake to it. But to see how they're going to say, okay, here's the threat initiative. And we were warned that this was going to happen for quite a few years, at least since 2001 by Carol Rosin at the panel there for the U.S. Press Club for the Disclosure Project, that this was going to happen, and now it's happening. And then they can walk back, seeing how the logical person thinking, well, yeah, we kind of do have to treat it as a threat because you might never know. This is going to get exactly the way they want it. Stage a false flag alien invasion, bring in a unified government. This was all planned. And then the icing on the cake was when I was listening to Jason Rice on Fade to Black a couple days ago now. I listened to that. And he said they did all this stuff on another planet, created the false alien initiative invasion thing. So they would say, okay, we need help. That's what's going to happen here. Unify the countries, and voila, unify against an outside threat. All right, now he's going to break down the To the Stars Academy business model. We've always been critical of this business model because it's got the entertainment in there. And Tom DeLonge from Blink 182.
So my humble company, along with Hal and several other people like Chris Mellon, Steve Justice, we have a company that a lot of people kind of say, well, all right, Lou, hold on. You ran ATIP, and now you're doing this thing with TTSA. And, okay, you're trying to build something, you're trying to study something, you're also selling books and T-shirts, and I'm confused. Okay, well, it's okay, you can be, but it actually makes sense. But that's a whole other briefing. But what I'm here to tell you, these are kind of the three divisions we have. Field operations, science and aerospace, and education and entertainment. Now, what the hell does entertainment and a rock star have to do with this? You got a platform, folks. Same reason you're here today. You're all coming here to have a discussion and have a conversation. And in order to do that, you got to get the word out. Having a rock star and a musician who understands how to push a message and is a little bit of a vanguard and maverick and doesn't really care about breaking some of the rules that guys like me do worry about.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you got to break a little China. And he knows how to break a lot of China.
So he was actually groomed. Tom DeLonge was groomed for this thing. You know, he didn't go to you guys. You guys came to him. And it was all set up, the whole press conference and all that. In the chat, Carl Joan, if you want to call in, you say stop talking about Jason Rice. Call in tell me why I should stop talking about him, because until I get a good reason not to, why should we discount his credibility? I would love to, let's just have a conversation. I don't have to be any, you know, at each other's throats or anything. That's what this show's about. Call in, have a conversation.
He was also an individual who got to the highest levels of government, whether you want to admit it or not. He got to Podesta. Okay.
Podesta.
So we have to give credit where credit is due. And part of this is like when Spielberg came out with his Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that was...
Just disclosure.
I think we can look back and say, wow, that was actually a very monumental movie. It was done for entertainment.
It wasn't done for entertainment. Actually, Steven Spielberg has had alien contact. He's had a lot of weird stuff in his house from, these are actually, I can't say secondhand sources, but, you know, people saw it, third hand, whatever. He's putting the stuff out to acclimate the public. This has already been happening for quite some time now.
But it was a monumental movie. I think we are at this paradigm where now we are faced with a new reality. And so the sky's the limit, folks. If you think that's exciting, wait till you see what comes out of this.
Here we go.
When you can manipulate space-time metric, can you imagine what type of things we can do for mankind and humanity? And that's just one. So our company is focused to a great deal on the science piece and the aerospace, on looking at this as a business case model that might work.
Business case model.
Material science is a critical piece to this.
Might work to get the initiative disclosure out of it.
We can't just sit there and say, aha, I told you so. That's not what this is about. This effort is not about satisfying the natural curiosity of people who want to know right now. As I've said before, there's a difference in giving information right and giving it right now. I am not in the business of giving information right now. I'd rather give it to you right. So you have to do due diligence. You have to understand what it takes to do the analysis and to respect the scientific methods and to respect the people you're working with in government, whether it be the legislative branch or the executive branch. You have to give people time. You
have to give people time. You guys had 60 years. You guys know what it is. He's got, those listening, he's got a bunch of artifacts on this PowerPoint behind him. This is the stuff he's going to show in the History Channel documentary that was all censored in the teaser trailers that they put up. But this is all about the average scientist getting acclimated, saying, all right, this stuff's real. We got to check it out.
Steeped many of you in this for decades. Some of these people are learning about this for the very first time. No kidding. They're scratching their heads and say, wait a minute, that's real? That's real. Can you imagine that? So you got to give them time, and then they have to make decisions. Because you can imagine with something like this, there's all sorts of agencies and organizations that have an interest in this. I can't tell you which ones, unfortunately, but you can use your imagination. And it's not just propulsion. There's other organizations that can look at this, you know, and say, let's say from
here we go.
Let's say from an armor perspective, right?
Huge,
I put X amount of pounds of armor on a vehicle that slow me down and weigh me down. What if I didn't have to have armor at all? What if I had a way,
excuse me,
with certain material where bullets didn't matter anymore? It didn't do anything to me.
No effect.
So we're taking this step by step. I know people are hungry for information and data. I do believe it's forthcoming, but it has to be done the right way. And by the way, let me caveat that too, because people say, well, it's the right way your way. No, it's not my way. It's not my way at all. But we have to respect the people that are involved. We have to give them the flexibility and latitude to take this in and start making the right decisions. And you want to always make sure that your executive branch and your legislative branch are duly informed. You don't want one being informed and not the other. Politics aside, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, you know, Tea Party, don't care. The bottom line is when you serve as a government servant like I did, It is our duty and responsibility to inform leadership and the executive branch. Doesn't matter who's in charge.
So now we got about 2 minutes left. I know this is getting long, folks. We'll finish it and wrap up here. But yeah, Shane in the chat says he's waiting for an asking price. That's pretty good. All right, so now he's going to recap their whole initiative about, you know, when they came back out 2 years ago about this stuff. God, has it been 2 years? Maybe it was a year and a half. That seems like a long time ago. That's why it's weird that nothing's really happened.
The New York Times came out and published a story that the program was real. DOD admitted it was real. They said they spent $22 million on it. 3 videos for the first time in U.S. government history were released by the U.S. government through the actual review process on objects that they still say to this day they have no idea what they are by the way they were already analyzed. And they said, Lou, we haven't a clue. This is some weird stuff. And by the way, you will see that we even had people from NTSB on camera analyze it. On camera. Same thing. Bingo. Not a clue. 50 years of doing investigations for the NTSB. I've never seen anything like that in my career. For the record, on camera.
But
one wrong word.
You did say that they were looking at these since 1947. They knew this stuff. And he talked about Project Blue Book in here and basically how ATEP wasn't the first thing. Remember, ATEP went from 2007 to 2012, spent $22 million on this. And then basically when he came out, it was like, well, what is that? You know, it was such a half-assed disclosure at that time. They should have had more bombshell information out, but they were so, like, I think, scared about the backlash of the people.
It's my NDA and I go to jail. You won't see Lou for a very long time. So I have to be careful. I will not violate my NDA, not because I'm afraid of jail, just because, I mean, I'm a patriot. I don't know what to tell you. I love my country, so I'm not going to violate it. If we've been a little bit radio silence, I apologize for that.
He says, be patient, good things are coming.
It's not intentional, but there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Just because you don't see what's on top of the water, there's a whole lot going on underneath. So I ask for a little bit of patience and understanding, which you've all been very patient and understanding. I think good things are coming. I think good things are coming this way. Yeah, they're going to be a little scary for some people. And maybe this is a conversation that is not only involving scientists like you and the curious, but also maybe religious scholars and philosophers and government people and academics.
Got to get the religion
on board. Why not bring them into the mix? At the end of the day, we're all affected equally, so we should probably all have a conversation together, in my opinion, anyways.
There it is, about having, let's just have a conversation about it, bring everybody up to the same level. It is a slow thing, we all know that. This is the official government narrative that they're running with. That's why I'm covering this, folks. This is top story stuff, because it is about the technology that comes out. It'll change the world. But it is what it is. Shane in the chat says, reaching for my wallet. What's in your wallet?
Ooh, definitely.
Oh, that's crazy stuff. But that is the plan. All right, we will wrap up. Carl Joan responded. Says, sorry I had taco all over my face. I don't want to call about it. I'll just say I trust QAnon, David Wilcock, and Corey Good more than... It's fine. I still believe in David Wilcock and Corey Good. You know, they don't get everything right. But it is what it is. We all have questions. Let's just break it down and answer it. Everybody was saying Jason Rice was a co-op guy or whatever. And rather than just jump on that train, which to be honest, I kind of did. I heard his name and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not going to look into it. He was on the Gaia. He was a replacement for Corey Good on Gaia. And, you know, I just listened to the Fade to Black and, you know, he does seem a little off, but who's to say that he's just not like that and awkward like that? That's all we can do is see what happens. Because they were supposed to, Corey always said more people were going to come out about this stuff in these programs. And I think we're seeing it. All right. I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Dan Hohlfeld, out. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Visit K2D4Network.com today.